evening, everyone. I'm Rebecca Williams, and the reason we are coming to you from our newsroom this evening is obviously because of the bad weather. We have experienced some power failures here at News 12. You probably noticed as you were watching CBS programming this evening a few glitches.
Well, it just went away, didn't it? Yes. We're located on South Broad Street, South Chattanooga. Many parts of it are dark right now. The power went out a little over a half hour ago and was restored just a few moments ago, but many businesses still. Traffic lights are affected all over town. The city police department still reporting to us numerous calls that they are receiving on power lines being down. In a couple of instances, possibly power poles that have been toppled by the high winds and heavy rains that have ripped through the Tennessee Valley in the last hour or so.
The wind has been a real issue. We've been hearing from a lot of folks until our phones went dead a short while ago, calling and saying that the wind had really picked up in their area. A lot of rain had fallen in just a short amount of time. We have David Neal, who's been watching the weather situation for us and tracking it on the radar. He got a lot of calls this evening from people who were really nervous, wondering, you know, is this tornado-like conditions? Is that something we need to be concerned about? We're going to have David in here in just a few moments to talk about that.
Yeah, he's setting up. Are you ready out there? He's been out in the weather garden watching the big light show that's been going on tonight with the lightning. And David, it's beginning to calm down now, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's actually pretty calm out here right now in the weather garden. We had that burst of thunderstorm activity to move through here, and pretty rapidly so. We got some heavier rainfall, but most of it has now ended for the Broad Street area. But we did have that show you were talking about, that light show. I don't know if you can see any more of it out in the sky right now. It seems to have passed over pretty quickly. But anyway, the worst has passed through the city of Chattanooga and now headed on to the east. If you live in those areas, be aware of what's happening. Let's go to the radar if we can and show you. Can we go to CG6, the weather computer, quite possibly, to show you what's happening? I don't know if that is in operation at this point, but we do have a radar loop on there. I think we might can show the folks at home. Maybe we don't have that. Anyway, the showers and storms are moving. There it is. You can see the loop. We're going to take you back in time with this first picture right here. That's about 7 o'clock up until the present hour. And you can see it was a pretty hefty line of thunderstorm activity. Anytime you have that much yellow and orange showing up on the radar picture, you're talking about heavy amounts of rainfall. And it stretched well back into northern sections of Alabama. And also, as you get into Mississippi, too, they also had quite a bit of thunderstorm activity there as well. It does look like these showers and storms will continue to pass on south and eastward at about 15 to 20 miles per hour or so. So expect those if you live in northern Georgia, Whitfield County, back over into, say, the Cohutta area over the next 30 to 45 minutes or so, with the bulk of this precipitation coming within about a 30-minute period. And then the light show we're talking about, the torrential rainfall as well, taking place within these thunderstorms. So watch out for that, and we'll continue to monitor this as best we possibly can without any power here at the television station. That's the story from out here on Broad Street right now, you guys. I know we have limited power, but at least we have lights on you in there, I believe.
And we still have the radar picture, which seems to tell us everything we need to know right now.
I mean, and I'm not kidding you, folks. When it hit tonight, it blew out everything in this complex down here at the Broadcast Center on South Broad Street, including the weather computer for a little while, because that's what everybody wanted to see. What's happening with the weather? And it was right on top of us, and the power was out. But we'll update you again in just a few moments on the latest developments and what we're finding out from the police departments as they report into us here at News 12 later on in this show. Tonight, despite the storm, sleep has not come easy to many people down in the Spencer-McCauley homes of late, and it's easy to understand why.
Fires have ripped through, as you know. We've been covering this over the past month. Twice fires have ripped through the homes just in a month's time. And fortunately, no one was seriously hurt in those blazes. But residents fear if there is a next time that their luck may change, and today they took that fear on the road. News 12's Kim Carpenter went along in their march for peace of mind, and she files this report.
No absence, no peace. No absence, no peace.
Residents of twice-burned McCauley homes say they won't have peace until they know what caused the fires that have left many of them homeless. They marched on the Housing Authority tonight hoping to get those answers, but they left fighting mad because they were only given 6 minutes to express their concerns.
Like they gave us 6 minutes to talk. This is what makes us get discouraged. But we need more people to march, so they won't be able to give us 6 minutes anymore.
Close to 30 residents paced the sidewalk in front of the Housing Authority, waiting for their chance to speak. They said they wanted to tell board members what it's like to live in fear.
You don't go to bed without thinking about if it's going to be your house next or the door next to you or whether it's going to be. You don't know. You look in on your kids and you wonder, is one of them going to make it out?
The Housing Authority has tried to minimize risks by stopping all construction at the site and disconnecting electrical lines to the attics where the fire started. They say they understand the residents' concerns, but they can't do anything until they know what caused the fire.
We want to know what the facts are just as badly as the residents do. And once we come up with some conclusive facts from the experts, then we'll address them.
Now, Kim tells us that many of the residents feel that they're not getting all of the information that they feel they need, but the Housing Authority says they're getting information out as soon as possible to the residents.
3 Ohio teenagers who are accused of shooting a Cleveland, Tennessee woman 2 weeks ago were back in court today.
And their appearance tops our look around the valley tonight. The trio face state charges of assault and theft. Today, they waived arraignment. They are accused of shooting Karen Brown in the face as they allegedly stole her husband's car. The teens were arrested 2 days later in Panama City Beach, Florida. They will face a preliminary hearing on April 5th.
Autopsy results confirmed that a Hungarian cave explorer did die from hypothermia yesterday. Rescuers found the body of 26-year-old Attila Zimorski dangling from a rope in Real Well Cave near Sweetens Cove over in Marion County. His partner says he became weak after returning through an underground waterfall.
DeKalb County, Alabama is getting a second chance this week at federal disaster relief after February storms.
The folks at FEMA had earlier turned down the county on its request, but after an appeal, FEMA agents returned last Friday to reevaluate the situation, and they upped the dollar figure in damages to $93,000 now, meaning the agency can consider the new numbers as early as tomorrow. O.J. Simpson got up close and personal with jurors today in Los Angeles.
Manuel Gallegos explains why in tonight's report from Los Angeles.
O.J. Simpson, rolling his eyes and grinning, walked up to the jurors and showed them the hand that police allege was wounded while he murdered his wife and her friend. The defense says Simpson's knuckle is always swollen, but lead detective Philip Van Adder looked at the finger in court too.
It didn't appear swollen to me, no.
Defense attorney Robert Shapiro cross-examined Detective Van Adder, trying to portray the veteran police officer as out of step with modern police techniques.
Would you say that you are one of the old school type of detectives? I don't think I know what old school means, sir.
Slowly and methodically, Shapiro attempted to paint a picture of police incompetence in the investigation of the double murders.
I wanted the shrubbery checked, I wanted the lawns checked, I wanted the streets checked, and I wanted the drains checked.
What about the gutters in houses?
No.
What about rooftops?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't have the manpower to do something like that over a large area like that.
Van Adder testified that though extensive searches had been conducted in Los Angeles and Chicago, no murder weapon had been found. He said the plane that Simpson flew on to Chicago the night of the murders was cleaned before police could search it. Earlier, Van Adder told prosecutor Christopher Darden that police gathered more evidence than necessary before presenting the case to the district attorney's office.
Did you rush to judgment in this case?
No.
The jury viewed news footage the prosecution contends shows how fairly Simpson was treated when he returned home from Chicago the morning after the murders. The video showed Simpson first handcuffed, then without handcuffs after a discussion with Van Adder. So far, neither side has questioned Van Adder about the 2-hour conversation O.J. Simpson had with police the morning after the murders. The prosecution could bring that up later this week. Manuel Gallegos, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And of course, testimony does continue tomorrow. While we've been scrambling around here trying to react from all of the storms, you have to have noticed that there's no basketball on tonight.
That's right. Kevin Billingsley is standing by to tell us now what's going on with all the rest for the NCAA. The NIT was gearing up a little bit tonight, Kev.
Well, not a whole lot going on in the NCAA tournament. By the way, I have been caught in my dress blues. It's hard to tie a tie in the dark. And Big Dance has been put on hold for a couple of days, so allow the Sweet 16 teams a chance to take a breath. Bobby Knight, well, he's going to take a breath. His team is out after Saturday's round. And first, this guy said Knight would not attend the press conference, but later, old Bob corrected that.
People, they're going to tell you I'm not going to be here. One is our SID, and the other is me. Who the hell told you I wasn't going to be here? I'd like to know. Do you have any idea who it was?
Yeah, I do, Coach.
Who?
I'll point them out to you in a while.
They were from Indiana, right?
No, they're not.
No, weren't from Indiana, and you didn't get it from anybody from Indiana, did you?
Could we please address
No, I'll handle this the way I want to handle it now that I'm here. You it up to begin with. Now just sit there or leave. I don't give a which you do. Now, back to the game.
Maybe take a chill pill, Bob. That's what I say. And by the way, for the first time ever, the Big Ten has been shut out of the Sweet 16. The conference received 6 at-large bids before this thing started. Remember, the Big Ten does not have a postseason tournament, so 6 teams did receive at-large bids, and none of them are still around for the Sweet 16. That's the first time ever for the Big Ten. Gary, Rebecca, back to you.
Those coaches in the Big Ten probably just don't know what hit them.
Ooh, that Bob Knight, too. You don't know what's with you until he
I
starts
think
yelling.
sometimes Bobby just likes to get riled up, you know?
would hate
Once a week, it's... Don't want to be on the other
No,
side
I
of him
don't.
when
I was
he's
just
angry.
thinking his son had to grow up in that backyard, didn't he? Oh, my.
Well, moving on. He is an icon of the hamburger world. You've got to recognize him, but the big boy's legendary status couldn't save him from some very bad boys, and we'll explain that in just a moment.
And next, the presidential race takes a right turn. Don't turn away. We'll be right back.
If you were going to build the perfect luxury sedan, you'd start with this affordable 24-month lease payment. You'd add a V8 engine that goes 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up, and introduce a 12-point memory profile to keep everything adjusted to your taste. Simply put, you'd build the all-new Lincoln Continental, a perfect balance of luxury and technology. And among luxury sedans, the perfect choice. The all-new Continental is available now at your Lincoln dealer.
Is there a place for basic values anymore? We believe there is, and it's right here at AmSouth Bank. We challenge you to try us for 6 months, because right now, AmSouth is giving you 6 months free checking. We'll even pay for your first order of checks. We're also throwing in 6 months free telephone banking and an AmSouth check card free for 6 months. Free checking, free checks, free telephone banking, free check card. Basic values from the relationship people, AmSouth Bank.
You're watching News 12 at 11 o'clock with Rebecca Williams, Gary Mack, Chief Meteorologist David Neal, and Sports with Kevin Billingsley.
Falling price. What would it sound like?
A crash. The prices do fall. They fall.
First it's like 12 cents, then it goes to 10, then it goes to 9.
It was $45.96, now only $22.96. It was $59.76, it is now $54.97.
It was $28.96, it's now $24.96.
We like our customers and we want to give them a good deal.
Watch the falling prices.
How incredible are these savings at your Eagle dealer? We'll find out today at the home of Mike Stocker. It's been 12 straight hours of television for Mike. Watch this.
Now, for only $236 a month, you can lease an Eagle Vision ESI with a powerful V6 engine, 4-wheel disc brakes, and dual airbags. Plus, check out great deals on the all-new Eagle Talon. But hurry, these offers won't last long.
Oh, thought he'd never leave.
Test drive a Vision at your Jeep and Eagle dealer, or call us.
Expect more. Get more. News, sports, entertainment. Chattanooga's Talk Radio. Talk FM 102.3.
Again, we're coming to you live from our News 12 newsroom tonight due to a power outage in South Chattanooga. We got zapped by lightning right before we came on the air this evening. And so our able-bodied crew and staff have put together the set, so as it is here, yeah, and the fan behind us here in the newsroom at News 12, and that's why we're in this setting this evening. Now we move along to news of the race. He is talking out about sex, affirmative action, illegal immigrants, and affirmative action.
He is Pat Buchanan, and today he kicked off his second Republican presidential campaign. Gene Randall covered the announcement in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Advisors say New Hampshire's first-in-the-nation presidential primary will be critical for Patrick Buchanan's White House aspirations in 1996, and that is why he announced here. Though even before he began, a group of activist Jewish protesters managed a bit of upstaging and had to be hustled out of the room.
Now you know what we're fighting against in this country, my friends.
The protest over, Buchanan gave his announcement address and hit hard on what he calls economic nationalism.
We're going to bring the jobs home, and we're going to keep America's jobs here. And when I walk into the Oval Office, we start looking out for America first.
3 years ago, in a protest run against President George Bush, Buchanan got 37% of the vote in New Hampshire's Republican primary, the high point of his campaign. but some doubt such support will carry over into 1996.
He reminds me a little of G. McCarthy, who obviously was a huge factor in 1968, helped oppose Lyndon Johnson, but when he ran in 1972, it did nothing. I think Pat Buchanan may be in for a bit of a surprise.
Stressing he is different from other Republicans in the race, Buchanan on Monday repeated his controversial line from the party's 1992 convention.
We shall fight and win the cultural war for the soul of America.
Few give Buchanan much chance for the nomination, but some think he could help frame the debate on his core issues, including protectionism, illegal immigration, and especially abortion. Monday, Buchanan took a swipe at other Republican presidential hopefuls who portray themselves as true believing conservatives.
Buchanan brigades are not leap year conservatives.
Gene Randall, CNN, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Now, Gary, as a result of this announcement, Buchanan has given up his national radio program, which is heard here in Chattanooga on Talk FM 102.3, and he also says that he will no longer serve as one of the co-hosts on CNN's Crossfire.
Though he suggested he might be a guest in the very near future.
I'm sure he is a willing volunteer.
Lunch, dinner, the famous breakfast bar, they'll never be the same at an Ohio restaurant. This big boy, all 6 feet, 300 pounds of him, will hoist no more hamburgers. You see, someone made mincemeat out of him with a hacksaw. Look at this. The perpetrators attached notes to the victim that said, "Big Boy is dead," a shameful display of disrespect to a mascot that has guarded Big Boy and Shoney's restaurants worldwide since the 30s. The cost of this damage that you see here, around $4,000.
I'm always surprised when I see things like that.
Big boy terrorist out there running around. Knuckleheads. Speaking of knuckleheads, we have...
oh, you're cruel. I know what's coming now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Neal. I thought we were going to sports.
And he's been working so hard tonight.
That's right, yes. We have weather coming up. Stay with us.
Anyone can give you half price, but nobody's crazy enough to give you half prices plus 18 months famous cash. Nobody but Jernigan. Everything's half price, and you get 18 months to pay with 18 months no interest. It's crazy days at Jernigan.
Road and Track recently rated the Honda Accord V6 with the top cars in its class. They said this car is blessed with V6 power and the chassis to handle it. A stellar showing in driver comfort and controls. The suspension absorbs anything the road can throw at it. And finally, the Accord V6 has established itself as the benchmark in its class. There, we think we've illustrated the point. And now you can get 2.9% financing on all models of the Accord through April 2nd.
The signs are obvious at Revco, a drugstore you can trust for complete pharmacy services. Plus, we'll match any competitor's prescription price. Revco, we're proud to be your drugstore.
Watch this and get this. Talk FM 102.3's Morning Press, Chattanooga Cable Channel 46 at 6 in the morning.
During the Dodge National Best Buy sale, just equip Dodge Neon with extras like these. Not only will you be saying hi to Consumer's Digest 95 Best Buy, you could also say hello to up to $1,200 off, including up to $600 cash savings to use towards your down payment, or select 4.9% financing instead of the cash savings. The Dodge National Best Buy sale. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
If you don't want your fish swimming in these waters, try the world's greatest tuna sub at Subway. It's their way or Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
The weather is brought to you by the hospitals of the Columbia Health System.
I really didn't mean to offend him. I thought it was Kevin that was coming up
That's
next.
something you'll have to deal with David Neal. Just a reminder to everyone, if you're just tuning in, we had lost our power a little earlier here at the WDEF studios, so that's why we're coming to you from a little different setting. And I know there will be people out there who will say, gosh, you know, I didn't really know she was that pregnant. She usually sits behind that desk.
There were people over the weekend asking, is she pregnant? Well, have you ever wondered? Now
well,
we get
I'm due Wednesday, by the way.
To the weather garden.
And this isn't helping matters at all.
David.
Gee, Gary, I thought it was that you were just looking so thin.
Thanks a lot.
I don't know. We do have weather to talk about. Let's look at the radar picture if we can, and we'll show you what we have here. And we've got those thunderstorms passing on through the Chattanooga area now. If you live in northern Georgia, you're under the gun at the current hour as these We really don't have anything severe anymore. All the warnings that were issued for northern Alabama have been canceled. There was a warning for Madison County at one point, as well as Jackson County into northern Alabama. And I don't have any more warnings for the North Georgia area, although still a pretty impressive line of activity is passing through the region. This picture here is about 30 minutes old, I must admit now, so add about 30 miles onto that as it passes on to the south and east at a pretty rapid clip now, and pushing down into the central sections of Georgia by later on tonight. So quickly, this is getting out of the area. It's not going to hang around for very much longer, and we're not expecting another line to form behind this one. This is actually the second line that has passed through our area over the past 6 hours. This is the cool front, and as it passes on by, much drier and more stable air pushes into the Tennessee Valley, and that really will help us out through the night tonight. And we should get back to, in fact, a mostly sunny sky in the forecast by later on tomorrow afternoon. And if you could see the 5-day planner, there would be lots of brilliant sunshines in that 5-day planner, starting with late tomorrow afternoon and going all the way, it looks like now, into the first part of the weekend, maybe even the second part of the weekend, too. So there's much improving weather to talk about over time. In the meantime, tonight, still, if you live in northern Georgia, I think all counties in northern Alabama are now in the clear as far as the severe thunderstorm activity. If you live in northern Georgia, from Whitfield, southern Whitfield, on down into, say, Calhoun, places like that, into Bartow County eventually. That's where that line of thunderstorm activity is now, and passing quickly on to the southeast. Won't last for very long, so try to hold on as best you can. You got power outages like we do here at the building. Maybe you can get that fixed over the next couple of hours. I can't speak for EPB, though, by the way, Garrett.
That's
He
true.
doesn't want to be the spokesman tonight.
No.
But if you could see that 5-day planner, which we saw at 6 o'clock, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Looks really good for the end of the week.
Light at the end of the building is what we're looking for.
That's all we need right now. Let me ask you this, though. Do you think that you have the oldest living banana in your kitchen?
It may have been bothering you the last couple of days. Here's one that even your mom wouldn't use for pudding. This piece of fossilized fruit left the bunch 43 million years ago. It is the top banana, the oldest banana. A scientist at the University of Florida says it sat on his shelf for 12 years before he figured out what it was.
Now, that's a piece of history. That's not something you want to be making a banana split with. I know that's the first thing that came into your mind.
I thought there's going to have to be a lot more if we're having a banana split.
If you're on a diet. Well, we're going to have more News 12 for you in just a moment. Please stay with us.
I won't have, we're coming.
What if I'm pregnant?
What if this pain in my arm is something serious? What if Dad needs to see a specialist?
What if my daughter gets sick?
What if my son's depression won't go away?
What if we need to find a new doctor?
It's only human nature to be curious, especially when it's about your own health. So, if you're looking for a doctor, don't leave it to chance. Leave it to us.
Marshal, here's your old bull driver. Can you handle it? Lewis, I'm the best at driving down high prices, that is.
New 95 Windstars, automatic air, 7-passenger and more, just $16,595. 95 Ranger XLT, air, stereo, sliding rear window, or 95 Escort, 2-door, 4-door wagon. Your choice, just $10,780.
Don't get caught in the trap of the competition's high prices.
See the Marshal, Marshal Mike Ford. We'll beat you best deal.
Regardless. Boy.
You know, when it comes to sports, usually, as far as being a spectator, I like to watch football, I like to watch a little golf, I like tennis, but I don't usually watch basketball, but I had to tune in and just check out a little bit of the game on Sunday.
I think the whole world stopped there for just a couple hours yesterday afternoon as MJ made it back to the court. Kevin Billingsley has all the details. Kev?
Yes, I do. You caught me just a little bit early. I thought we were going to do another segment, but first, let me put a handle on these scripts and let everybody know that I love a teleprompter. That's where we get to see the scripts here. That's when we are in the studio. But let me read this to you. You know, it was the return of Michael Jordan. It was a great day for basketball fans when Air Jordan laced up his high tops and went out on the court to take on the Indiana Pacers. And, you know, the most interesting thing after the game, a lot of sportscasters picked up on the idea that Michael may have been so nervous he put his shorts on backwards. Could that possibly be? Here's some of the videotape from yesterday. Check out the little NBA logo on the backside. Everybody thought it was Michael's fault, but no, the equipment manager of the Chicago Bulls brought the media in today, said, no, Michael was not nervous. It was just a mistake.
Champion sewed the logo on the back of the short instead of the front of the short. So he had his shorts on right, just that the logo was sewn on the back of his short instead of the front of his shorts.
So there you go. Michael is in the clear. Down at the Omni in Atlanta today, or as a matter of fact, just a few hours ago, the Hawks played host to the Clippers. Let me tell you a couple of things. First of all, on Saturday, the Hawks beat the Phoenix Suns, trying to come back and win this game. Let me tell you the things I do know. They played at the Omni. It was the Hawks against the Clippers, and the final score was 106-104. Atlanta comes away with the victory. That's about all I can tell you, because as you probably have heard over and over, the electricity has gone out, and so have our computers. Final note tonight, of course, everybody's heard about the Hugh Durham story. After 17 years down in Georgia, athletic director Vince Dooley fired the head coach. Kind of a little controversial. They told him to up his season just a little bit. Well, more bad news for the Durham family. Doug Durham, who has been filling in as the head coach for the Georgia Southern Eagles, has been relieved of his duties. Seems that Georgia Southern has picked an assistant coach from the University of Alabama to take over that head coaching job. So not